Which DCA bot is king? You all know me from my videos talking about 3 DCA bots. I have courses about 3 DCA bots. I recently launched a course on Pionex and how to use their DCA bots with the TBT signals. So how does Altrady's DCA bots stack up to 3 and Pionex? Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Moon and Papa. I have courses on thebettertraders.com where I can teach anyone how to become a better trader. This is pinnacle to understand when it comes to DCA bot trading is that there's so many platforms out there touting DCA bots.
I'm the best! I'm the best.
No, I'm the best.
But the truth is that not very many of them do a good job. Some things that 3 does with DCA bots are amazing, but there are also some weak points. The same thing could be said for Pionex. So where does Altrady fit in this? Well, let me just kind of establish kind of a continuum right now. And I know that there are lots of other platforms, but let's just focus on the 2 that we've talked about so far. So you all know 3 really well. Love it or hate it, you all know it really well. Their DCA bots are still king. I think that they're the best DCA bots in the biz, but where does Altrady stack up to that? So when we look at Pionex, we're going to put on this side, Pionex's DCA bots are super simple to use, but they lack all of the crazy advanced features that everyone will want or rather miss if you're used to using 3 Now you're sacrificing free for the features, right? So if you want free, Pionex. If you want features, 3 So where does Altrady fit in this continuum? Is Altrady on the easier, simpler side, or are they feature rich? Do they actually have features to compete with 3 So the truth is that Altrady is leaning way more towards this end, if not right next to 3 The main thing that's missing, in my opinion, on Altrady's DCA bots is the lack of signals. The main primary signals that they offer are the crypto-based scanner signals, which frankly are amazing. But here's the thing. Only having those signals available weakens the platform just a little bit, in my opinion. It'd be nice if there were other symbols that we could choose from, but thankfully they have a fantastic webhook creation setup that I'm actually going to go into more depth with our Better Traders Club members. So all of you club members, you're going to have to watch the bonus video on that, which is going to be live now in the club portal. So for everyone else, we're just going to be talking about the crypto-based scanner, and I'll show you a little bit about the webhook stuff. But what I need you to understand is that only having one signal set automatically makes Altrady like, oh, come on guys, like something else. So I would love to offer the TBT signals on the platform, but to their credit, the crypto-based scanner signals are really good. They are very good in that they do a lot of what the TBT signals do, except it does it for lots of coins. So how does Altrady and 3 stack up against each other when it comes to DCA bots? Let me just say it this way. As far as the signals go, that's the only weak point I can identify. Honestly, Altrady's DCA bots are actually better than 3 for a couple of reasons that I'm going to identify on the screen in just a minute, but the main gripe that I have about them is the lack of signals, the lack of deal start conditions for all of you that speak 3 Z's, or rather the signal for all of you that use Pionex. So having that start trigger is really important because you can have an amazing start trigger, but you have to have the right configurations to make it work, right? Or vice versa. You can have a terrible start trigger or a deal start condition or whatever, a bad signal. But if you have the right settings, then you can actually make that super profitable. So you need to have something. So having the crypto-based scanner signals is great and they are very good, but it's not the same as the TBT signals. So again, the signal, the deal start condition, that's the only thing that I can see lacking with Altrady's DCA bots. So let me pop on over and show you my DCA bot that's been running for the last 50 days or so, almost 2 months. And I want to show you the profits. I want to show you a lot of stuff that you're probably going to drool over. Let's check out these bots, shall we? So we're going to look at this one first, my CBS day trade. CBS, not that broadcasting company in America.
CBS presents this program in color.
CBS stands for crypto-based scanner. So here in the overview, it's telling me how much of my funds I've allocated to this bot, how many I've opened, how many I've closed. But this is actually like scratching the surface. This is the cool part, is that this is telling me, yes, these are my open positions. They're waiting to be closed. But down here, this is everything that I've run. Now, I've made some mistakes in here, like this one should not have closed in a loss. That was my fault for not knowing how to set these up properly. but it's okay, live and learn. I also have one that I'm waiting on to close that I started initially way back when I first started these, and I used the wrong settings because I didn't read the manual because I thought I can do this. But what I want to look at right now are the analytics. This is actually way better than any platform I know of in terms of reporting. This is how everything should be. So the way that Altrady does reporting is different. So right here, it says at the top, we have the reporting period. Yes, we can see how the signals have done just for this week. Based off of the allocated amount, it's made less, like what, 0.2% this week. This month, it's made about 7%, which is pretty good. There's also obviously an unrealized profit and loss amount, meaning that these are basically trades that haven't closed yet. But I want to go back to the report period that says all, and I want to focus here on session. This is really interesting. So essentially what this is that these are performance periods. So this first period, when I set up the bot, I had one trade basically that ran. So it won and I made $9, whatever. It made a good trade. And I can go to the next period. And in this period, we can see this one lasted for a lot longer. This one lasted for approximately, maybe 10 days. So we can see over here, we got all the stats over here. This is the total runtime, but not this session. I think this is interesting because you can see, like, when I started to tweak things, that will automatically create a new session. So right now, the current session we're on right here, this is the one that was adjusted on April 4th, which is last week or so. So far, these are the settings that I should be using all along, and I just kind of tweak things and change things, whatever. But on the right side, as I've been doing everything over here, and let me just go back to the top. Actually, we're just going to go over here, all. So now I'm looking at all the sessions over time. So now I can see the sessions breakdown. This is basically that time period. So from March 3rd to March 9th, whatever, this is session 3. I can see how profitable it was. So the idea is that you're able to back test to see how profitable were your settings before you started changing them. So session 2 was the most profitable over here because I actually messed up my settings. So it says total percentage P&L. This actually accounts for half of my total P&L, which is 20% overall. So this $57 is a little over half of my realized P&L. So that's what this means. Then of course I have one that's a loss because of a goofed up setting, but just to show you that it happens to me too. It's okay. So this is the cool part, is over here, this is telling me how much total volume I've generated, how much I've paid in fees, the total runtime of the bot, average P&L, average win rate, like average loss. This is because I had one loss, so of course it's there. Like there's a ton of stuff that I generate in our profit and loss reports for the TBD signals, but they already just put it here. Like this is fantastic. So if the TBD signals can be added, then you're going to see all the same stats that you would see over on their site, except you're going to see things a little bit differently over here, which I like, which I think is really interesting. It's cool. So let's scroll down. We have a lot of signals received, but only 41 were opened. Why? Well, it's all based on the settings that you have here on Altrady. Just like on 3 commas, sometimes you'll get an alert or like a notification in your log to say it tried to start a deal, but it couldn't complete, or it didn't finish, or there was an error or something like that, or some sort of like not enough funds or whatever. That's basically what we're looking at here. So positions not opened, 451 positions were not opened. With the setting that I'm using, the deal start condition, the signal, I received 490 signals to start trades, but only 41 were opened. Why? Well, that depends on the signal that you're using. And we're talking about the crypto-based scanner, so I'll talk about that next. So here are reasons that positions were not started or opened. So filters did not match the algorithm. So 63% of these just didn't match the algo, and I'm using the day trading algorithm. Right here, it didn't match the algorithm's minimum success rate. 20% of the received signals didn't match it. And then I got a couple of these. No orders could be placed. because the account has insufficient balance for this requested action. This is because I was trying to bail out other trades. So some of them I just couldn't start because I'd used up my USDT per the base order size that I was using before. And of course, just like on 3 commas, if you've maxed out your total available simultaneous deals per pair or your total number of trades per bot, which is essentially what this is, then I missed 6 signals because I had exceeded the settings of the signal. So coming down here to my cumulative P&L, we can see that, yep, there's my dip, there's the loss, but for the most part, it's doing pretty well. Yes, the initial growth of this bot is significant because I was using way too much. But I still have to adjust and I still have to change it, but just testing a little amount on a live account and just to see how it goes. So it's really interesting to see how this goes, to see how profitable it is. And this right here is crazy. So this is where the analytics just go nuts, like nutso fantastic in a good way. Not only do I see how many of my trades closed with no DCA, with 1, 2, or an extra. This would be like an additional one because mine are set up to have 2 safety trades, just like the TBD signals, top 10, DeFi, it's all the same. So I can see here out of everything, 16 positions, which is what Altrady calls a deal, which is what 3 commas calls it, or a round, which is what Pionex calls it. Can we just like merge all this stuff together? It's a little bit silly. But anyway, this is the trade, right? So this position, out of everything, 16 positions were closed without any DCA. And it's giving me the win rate. This has a bad win rate because of that loss I had. But I can also see the average P&L here, which is interesting because this tells me, well, my P&L not my P&L, but my profit potential is actually higher than what I actually have it set to. And that's because of the settings, which I'll show you in a second. Another thing I love about it. So right here, they just knock it out of the park. I can't do that. That was spit. I hit spit. It was a fly ball. It's a fly spit ball.
Long fly ball.
Going on. So the volume breakdown is really interesting too. So I have parameters set that I don't want to trade anything below a certain amount of volume, or rather, yeah, I don't want to trade anything below that volume. So it's letting me know, how did this end up? Was it profitable? Is this a good idea? And then it's telling me based off everything I've received. So you can see here, I don't have any duplicates yet. So one of these is a loss. One of these is an almost loss because of trailing. And then we're just going up and up and up. So I can see here that the biggest win by volume is VGX USDT. And for that one, I made $23, which is way bigger than what I normally make, which is about, $1, $2, whatever. But that's because I had way more size in this one. So I think this is interesting because you're just getting so much more information. Like, this is insane. I love it. You can tell I love it. Yes, there's an error log. So I'm going to get things like filters did not match the algorithm or the success rate. So what is that talking about? That's talking about all the stuff here in the settings. I'm going to get there, but I just want to go over here to show you the positions. So right now I have 2 running positions, which is the same thing in the overview, except in the overview, it gives you everything. So maybe it's a little bit too much. Maybe that's why they have it like this. So I have 2 running right now. I have one that I'm waiting on for magic and another one, again, I'm waiting on. But it tells me everything I need to know. Even in the closed, I can see here that this one here for PNT, I added more funds to it. Not only is the cost of it way more than the previous ones, but I can see over here, DCA 3 out of 3. So this one over here, Bake, I actually bought a lot of this one. I kept DCAing into it and it worked out well. And you can see take profit. Yes, you can have multiple take profits with Altrady DCA bots. Already, this is the #1 best thing about Altrady's DCA bots, but you've got to be careful because I'm going to share why in a second, because I've also come up against a lot of errors. I'm trying to figure out why is this happening? But this is your control center for all of your closed and your active trades. Now, just to answer something you're saying, recovered. Why is it 105, right? This doesn't make sense. Why is this 51%? This is the one I'm talking about. So this is telling me how much it's recovered, how much profit it made. So it's telling me that this actually made 10% based off of this. This made 4%, this made 1%, this made 9% based off of the size, right? Or sorry, the cost, as they call it. So that's telling me a little bit about the profit that I'm making over here. See how that's related? So down here, this one that says 51%, look at how much was used for this trade. And look at the take profit target right here. 1 of 2 executed. So what happened for this one? Actually, let's just click on it so you can see it. Again, this is another great thing I love about this. So right here, we can see the yellow arrow is where it started. This is where it took profit first. And the second take profit, the size was too small. It was less than what the exchange allows to take profit in. I was hoping to take profit 10 and 10. But because it bought less than 20 because of trading fees, so I have to fix this, now I just have some of this PLA that I have to hold on to. So I got some dust that I'm waiting on for it to become worth more than 10 PLA. So that way I can actually take profit in it and sell it. So I'm not worried about it. It's a small marginal amount, but it's still interesting nonetheless that I can see that over here in the bots. So let me go back. So we're going to go now to the settings. So this bot's already done. So I'm going to show you a couple of things as to why I have it set up this way. So I'm using a signal. So you can either use a signal or you can use a webhook. The only signal available right now is the crypto base scanner. That's it. So there you go. You're kind of locked into that. But again, it's performed really well. I mean, you're looking at my live account. You can see how well it's doing. So coming down here, this is the interesting part right here, the filters. Very similar to 3 commas. You don't see this really on Pionex. It's too simplified there. So this is getting into some crazy stuff where you can get a little bit tricky with it. So you choose an algorithm. You could choose multiple, by the way, just like on 3 commas. But here, because I'm using the crypto base scanner, I want to choose the minimum success rate and the maximum success rate if I want to. I don't want to really do that. But I personally like 80 as a sweet spot. It's good. And this has to do with how the crypto base scanner works and the base breaking strategy. So that's what I have set up to use. I have just 4 max concurrent positions. This is a really simplified way to say it's not going to open up more than 4 trades at a time. That's it. Easy to know. Max positions per market. I'm just going to do 1, easy. I don't have any other stipulations, but just like on 3 commas, you can specify the 24-hour volume, the minimum or the maximum volume. So it's not going to order anything that has more than something. So if you want to avoid buying into a pumped token, you would put the max there. Price, easy to understand. So minimum, maximum thresholds. This is great. So I have a white list and I have a black list. So what this means is that I have a couple of pairs right here. So I have SKL, Magic, Bake, Riff. I have these in here because these were very frustrating to dig myself out of. So if I have another trade that comes up and I don't want it to come up in this bot again, just add it, which is great. With the whitelist, if there are pairs that I've already researched over here on the analytics, or rather the statistics, but I think of it as analytics for the CBS signals, I'm going to identify those and only those trades will open up because they're going to meet all this stuff. And I could take off a lot of filters because I know exactly which trading pairs I want to add. So it's really nice. I love this feature. This would also have prevented a lot of people from getting manipulated on 3 commas to enable some simple whitelist for your bots. Like if I've selected this bot, or like if I want to set up a bot and create it, like only allow this trading pair for this bot, not doing the X, Y, and Z, right? So anyway, let's keep going down. So because it is a DCA bot, yes, we want to enable dollar cost averaging. Great. So we can enable our fixed amount initial order size. And right now I'm actually going to fix this because I want to make sure I don't run into this issue anymore. So entry price deviation percentage. This is a little bit weird, but essentially for all of you that use 3 commas, this is basically your trailing buy. So you have a buy order. When it's triggered, it's not going to execute until 3%, 3%, 3%. So if the price keeps falling 3%, 3%, 3%, That's kind of what it is, except this is particular with crypto base scanner. So when the base is broken, then 3% below that base, it's going to start a new trade. So again, there are more particular things that you have to pay attention to with the CBS signals than you do with like TBT or whatever, but it works well for me. You can also do this, which is interesting. You can enable these. So if the order for some reason is not filled within an hour, that would be a very low volume token, then you could make sure that that order expires. An hour would be way too long. I would say if your order isn't filled within 3 minutes, expire it, like kill it, because it's probably a low volume, maybe even like a double-digit barcode chart. Gotta watch out for those. So here, this is all of my DCA stuff. So I'm gonna use custom, but you can use this signal, which is really interesting. And they do offer the signal here for CBS, but I don't want to switch it because I want to keep these settings. This is one part that did throw me off and I didn't understand it. It's kind of weird. But right here, the target quantity, this is actually a percentage of the initial entry order. So I always thought this was like fixed. So I said, oh, my initial order size is 22, so I'm gonna do 44 and then whatever. No, this is doubling down. So double down, double down. I know, I learned my lesson the hard way. These target prices, these are recommended settings, I believe, from the CBS stuff, but again, they work well for me. You can adjust it based off of the pairs. And again, if you're using the whitelist feature, then you might want to use specific target prices instead based on the history of a chart that you've identified. So here's the best part about this. So in the exit settings, you can use fixed take profit and you can split it while using trailing for the last target. So this is where I was able to snag some really good profits. So I'm looking to take profit at 3% and also at 6%. Now, some of you using this may be going like, no, why would you do that? No, that's okay. I mean, I could always change the volume. I could always change the profit percentage or whatever. But this is great. Like I'm really happy with it, especially the fact that I can finally use DCA bots and use split targets for taking profit, because sometimes the chart really just takes off. So that means that not only can I use split targets, which means my first target is going to secure profit, the second one is going to take advantage of any crazy moonshot that happens next, which we all know crypto, that happens. And that also gives me the ability with trailing to take advantage of that big upward move, okay? So you might be wondering, wait, Moon Papa, you never use stop losses. You actually don't prefer them for DCA bots. You're right. But I have a special little trick here that I really like. Again, this is another reason why I love using Altrady, is that this follow take profit feature is fantastic. So the way that 3 commas does this, they call it break even. So here's a hypothetical situation. You buy it 1, you want to sell it 2. You have split targets. So you want to sell it 2, 3, 4, okay? And your stop loss is at 0. So if the price goes up to 2, then your stop loss on 3 commas goes to 1. And then the price could go up or down or whatever, it doesn't matter, but it's not going to move any higher. Even if the take profit targets are hit at 3 and 4, it's going to stay at 1. But on Altrady, it's going to follow each target. So if you have like 8 or 9 targets, which you can actually have, I think you have a total of 10. So every single target that's hit, guess what? Your stop loss is going to go to the previous target that was surpassed. Next one, next one. So basically you have an intelligent trailing take profit feature here, which is what this is, follow take profit. I love this. So this has been fantastic to watch, and I love this. It's great. You can also use average entry. You can follow the price at a fixed price, but I love this feature the most, especially because I'm just using 2. So I have to enable a stop loss. So in order to take advantage of this, I do have to have a really wide stop loss. So you'll remember that one that I had for ACA. If I go back over here to my positions. So this one had a stop loss at 30 and it did, oh no, that's blah. Where's my other one? Where's my terrible one? Oh, page 2. Here it is. My stop loss was here at 20. So this one ended up being a very, very, very bad trade. And this is the one I'm waiting on, by the way, still. It's not closed yet. It's still open, which is why it says 0% recovered. I'm just waiting. But this one for ACA, that's exactly what happened. The price kept falling, and because my stop loss was too tight, because I was trying to take advantage of that recovery move, it didn't work out. So I'm gonna go back to the settings to show you again. If you want to use follow take profit, you have to have a really wide stop distance percentage, just saying. And you can use stop loss timeout. We could do a lot of other stuff too, like time-based auto close. I don't recommend that at all for DCA bot trading. That would be a different type of trading, but you get the idea. So if I change anything like I did, or I wanted to, where is this? So my initial order size, I'm going to change it to 22. So now I'm going to hit save settings. So now I have a brand new session that started right now. You can see today's date is April 10th as of the filming of this video. So there's going to be a new session starting now. So that's telling me that with this new configuration that I've started right now, it's going to start doing the same thing again. It's going to tell me how well my bot is doing ever since the last change that I've made. As you can see, there are a ton of analytics. There are a ton more settings on Altrady, and the webhook feature is legit awesome because you can turn anything into a signal. It doesn't even have to be a TradingView alert. It could be a Zapier trigger. It could work with make.com, like anything could signal that bot to start a new trade. You could even have it pick up on keywords on Twitter. I actually did this with my Elon bot. Anytime that Elon would tweet the word Bitcoin, then I would have my bot buy. Like, you can do a ton of stuff with webhooks, which is really cool. But outside of webhooks, that's the only part where Altrady is like a little bit like, oh, you guys are so close. But I'm sure there's a way that we could squeeze in the TBT signals in there somehow for all of you that follow the signals and subscribe to them and use it on 3 Commas and also on Pionex. So remember, all of you club heads, make sure that you go into the club portal so that way you can get your bonus video, your goodies on learning how to set up webhooks with Altrady. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.